being a plumber, you get yourself into some gnarly situations. Like, take for instance, this had a leak underneath the house. Customer didn't know about it, so the house obviously flooded underneath. Not too bad, but you know, they still have a problem, and you don't have any water when you have a leak, and you got to turn it off, and then to find it, you got to turn it back on and actually crawl. Nobody wants to go into their house as it is when it, you know, under normal conditions. So you especially don't want to have to go under there whenever you got a leak and you're dealing with mud and all kinds of you know, bugs, spiders, and possibly raccoons living under there. No, I'm just kidding. Never really had a raccoon, but nevertheless, getting to that problem to fix it could be a task. You got to kind of hurdle over all of your utilities. You got to move your plumbing along with you, along with your tools, your light. If that light goes out, you can't see nothing. So here we had a galvanized pipe leaking, and so we had to cut some of the spots so we can access it. Luckily, this one had a union here. We were able to loosen up. But this old galvanized stuff, man, you start touching it and you might break it somewhere else down the line. So you got to really be careful, back up all your fittings. Every time you want to loosen a fitting, you want to make sure the side that you don't want to spin stays very still. So you grip it, get a monkey grip on there, and hold it as tight as possible in a fixed position, while the side you want to turn, you apply the force. And makes it kind of interesting whenever you're under a house, because you have no leverage. I'm laying on my stomach right here, and I have the bottom of the floor above my head and the ground right below me, and you got to find some kind of leverage to apply force to that fitting so you can get it off like there. Some of them are a lot tighter than others. Like I said, luckily this one had a union, so we were able to get that one off quite easy. The other side looks like it might be corroded on a little worse than this situation, but that side is off. You want to clean up the threads, make sure that you have pipe dope, and so it's basically thread sealant. It's non-drying thread sealant that you can put on the threads to make sure that the water it has a watertight seal. Snug that down, you get everything nice and cleaned up. I got my a Pro Press fitting here that we're going to be putting on. You want to get that thread sealant compound all the way around the threads before you put your fitting on, and then again you want to back up your fix, that the side there with the fittings on. I don't want to move, it's going into the house, so I want to hold it and apply back pressure on there, make sure that it's not going to turn or loosen something else up. And at this time too, you want to make sure that everything is good. If the fittings are still bad, you might want to keep going or put in a little more pipe in there. But the rest of these fittings looked fairly good. Plus, this was a fairly old house, so all of it eventually is going to get changed out. However, this one here was a doozy because it was like really tight. The fitting was just hanging onto this pipe, so I was trying. And yeah, that's tight. But get enough leverage on there, you might have to reposition yourself to, I don't know, use the force of the ground or something. But sometimes they're a pain in the butt, and this is why a lot of plumbers won't even attempt to even try this, because to put this amount of force, especially with all the existing plumbing being old, you run the risk of causing more damage as well. But if you know how to do it, you can back it up and make sure you don't damage anything else while you're trying to get that pipe out of there, and hopefully find enough leverage to apply enough force to unthread the pipe that's been in there for probably 60-70 years. There you go, you get that thread out. Oddly enough, all these threads are very nice. Even the fittings were nice and clean in there, which allowed us to tie on a nice repair and get it all fixed. So again, we're gonna put on the pipe dope, which that's just, I guess that's slang, that's the plumbing slang for it, pipe dope, but it's thread sealant. And you put that on there. It's a non-drying sealant adhesive. So here we have 3 sections intersecting right here. So I have to install a T here. And the way you do that, you kind of, again, I work from each end to the marked line with a pipe attached to it. We're pulling it over, basically extending the length of one side to meet up with the T. And so now I'll cut this one to size. I'll actually put the T close by, see exactly where that's going to line up on the new pipe I just installed, and mark it. Again, you're in really tight quarters, so you got to kind of ignore the fact that you have all of these horrible circumstances. You're on your belly, you're in the mud, things are getting dirty, muddy, so you got to really try to keep things organized and know where things are. And again, you're working on spotlight and confined space, so it's kind of you got to know what you're doing. So again, we got this T in here. I got 2 ends done, and now we got just one more end of the T to tie into, and we can get this customer's water back on. So we got the Pro Press fitting. Again, this tool here is a lifesaver, because imagine having to be in all of these conditions right here, and then having to aim a torch, underneath someone's house. Granted, this house doesn't have an insulation underneath it, but other places do, and that could be pretty dangerous if you had to run a torch underneath someone's house. So here I'm able to get these customers' water back on, and their whole leak fixed, and that fix is going to be there forever. Until we decide to repipe the entire house, but this is a lot cheaper than having to do that, and it's done. Thanks for watching. You have a wonderful day.